Hey, welcome to the Coin Box. Usually on this channel we show Mexican and American coinage, but we've also done Canadian, Austrian, and maybe a few others. But today I'd like to do something a little bit different. In the wake, sadly, of the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, I thought we'd look at different portraits, different effigies of the Queen on different coins. Mostly on British coinage, but I also have Canadian and Australian, for example. So she was the Queen of Great Britain, of the United Kingdom, but she was the head of state of many different countries around the world that are part of the Commonwealth, and including Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. So we're very familiar with her face on coins. She's been a queen, I believe the second longest reigning monarch ever. She's been a queen she reigned for 70 years, which is, her reign itself was longer than probably most of our lifespans, if not all of our life, those watching. And I'd like to start with the Royal Mint's website here, and this shows us the 5 official portraits throughout her 70-year reign that we find on British coinage. So the first one, this one here, she became queen in 1952, and her effigy was first minted on coinage beginning in 1953. So we have this design by Mary Gillick from 1953 all the way to 1968, and then we find the design by Arnold Machin. And then in 1985, we have the third design by Raphael Macluf, and then the fourth design, 1998, by Ian Rank-Broadley, and then the last and fifth design from the Royal Mint on British coinage by Jody Clark in 2015. Now, interestingly enough, we don't always find those same 5 designs on other countries' coinage, but let's start by looking at the 5 British designs here that we find on British coinage. So we said this is the first one, beginning in 1953 by Mary Gillick. Sorry, Gillick, not Glick, Mary Gillick. This is a 1967 penny, and I believe the Queen was 27 years old. I think in 1953, is that right? But this was the first effigy, and she has, instead of a crown, a crown of laurel, I believe. So I really like this one. I don't have a silver coin with that effigy. And then the second effigy, I don't have a British coin, but I believe this is the same effigy here we find on this Canadian maple leaf, and this is from, and it's original packaging, from 1989. So we have this second design, which was by Arnold Machin. And this shows a very young queen, now with her crown. I like royalty to have their crowns on coinage. I don't know about you. I'm missing the third design here, but I'll show you here on the screen. So this is the first design we just took a look at, the first portrait by Mary Gillick. And then this is the second one by Arnold Machin. And you can see down here, it says this effigy was used on coins in Canada, and it gives the years, Australia, New Zealand, and United Kingdom, among others. But you can see the years don't always match. And in fact, later on, they used different designers' effigies that were similar to the official British effigies on coins, but not always exactly the same. So this is the second one. The third one is the one I don't have, which is this one. And this is the third portrait. I really like this one. She's a little older, and in fact, it's kind of funny, this portrait, or this effigy, got some criticism because it showed the Queen flatteringly young. But I like this one. I like this design a lot, actually. We see a really nice crown. These crowns have names. I don't know it. I might even be able to find it here in the article. But anyway, that's the third one. And actually, I'm going to show this one here because this one is very, very similar. It's actually almost identical to the third effigy by Raphael Macluf, even though I don't think this is considered his design. I think this is another design by a Canadian designer. And this is once again on a Canadian maple leaf. And this is a 1990 maple leaf. So I'll talk a little bit more about the Canadian designs in a little bit here. But then we have the fourth design by Ian Rank-Broadley, which is this one here. This coin has a very almost proof finish to the whole surface of the coin, so it's really hard to film. It almost looks cleaned, but it's not. That's just the finish. I don't believe it is. At least I didn't clean it. If it is, this is a 2013 Britannia, and this is another design of the Britannia, which we also see on British coinage, and of course on their 1 ounce silver and gold, I believe, bullion coins. So this is the design by Ian Rank-Broadley. And then we have finally the 5th design, which is this one here by Jody Clark. And this one is also a very, very shiny coin. They're beautiful in person, and they're just hard to film, hard to show how beautiful they truly are. But this is once again a 2020 Britannia, one of my favorite designs as well. Just look at all that. There's so much symbolism. There's so much going on. You can feel the wind. You can just feel the movement and the wind and on the design. It's a really, really beautiful coin. So this was the 5th and last, I believe, portrait from the Royal Mint. And it's also used, I believe, on stamps and paper currency as well as other designs. But this is the design by Jody Clark. And once again, we see the queen with her crown, as it should be. So this crown looks a lot like the design I don't have. But we see, I like these designs with the queen and her crown. And that brings us to other nations, other countries that have the queen's effigy on them. And Canada, of course, comes to mind. Now I have these 3 different ones here, and you can see the evolution of the design right there. So I'll show you once again here on the screen. This is from the Canadian Mint. So it says Faces of the Monarch, and it says, as a Commonwealth country, Canada has included the likeness or effigy of the reigning monarch on its coins since the Royal Canadian Mint started production in 1908. And of course, it starts with the kings before Queen Elizabeth. Then we have this first one. Again, the years vary from the British coinage, effigies used on British coinage, but this is the first one by Mary Gillick. And the second one, I believe, is also the same by Arnold Machin, which is this one here. So a very pretty design of a young queen. And I'm sorry this is so reflective, but this is in its original packaging, and I don't want to take it out. But this is the second one. And then we find the first variant here, which is this design by Canadian designer Dora, I'm not going to say this right, Dora de Pedery Hunt. Maybe it's de Pedery Hunt, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, this is very similar, though, to this one, which was the 3rd official portrait by Raphael Macluf. So you can see the similarities between that one and that one. They actually look very, very similar. I'll leave these links in the description of the video if you care to look at these websites a little further, more in depth. And then we have the final current design by Susanna Blunt. And this is the portrait that we find on the Canadian maple leaves. And I have one right here. This is a 2020 Canadian maple leaf. And just look at this side of the coin. It's a very brilliant, brilliant design. I really like this design with the radial lines. And then we have here the effigy, the final one used by Susanna Blunt. And I'm not a huge fan of this last effigy. I feel like the queen still should have had a crown, but it is what it is. This is the final one used on Canadian coins, and we find it actually, we find varieties or different effigies. This is on the, for example, the Australian kangaroo here. This is the design here by Jody Clark, but we see just slight variances in the design, adapted to the coin. And yeah, we just see this final design on different coins. This is again a maple leaf, 25th anniversary. And then on circulation coins as well, which I won't bore you with right now. But anyway, I just wanted to go over those coins, these effigies briefly. We have, as far as coin collecting and numismatics, we'll have a new design probably come, I don't know if sooner than next year, but probably next year with King George III. And you'll notice all of these effigies, on all of these coins, the queen is facing to the right, and traditionally the next monarch will be facing the opposite direction. So we'll probably see in 2023 an effigy of King Charles III facing left. So it is with sadness that we see a international icon of stability and grace that the Queen was, but we have her enduring effigy on thousands of coins, including some of these that we have here as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, and I'll see you in the next video.